All right, welcome back to the stream, sluggers. We are going to keep working on our RX-93. Progress is slow, but I'm hoping we finish at least the main body and torso today. So legs and arms, kind of, and then for our next stream, we really will just have to worry about his uh, backpack and weapons, and then just kind of panel lining and some of the details and stuff. Work all that out. All right, let's find some pieces, because last we left off, I believe we were right here at 31. And I remember why we left off. It's because I need my tweezers. Luckily, I remember where I put them. So just 1 second. All right, we got our tweezers back. Now our sticker applications can proceed smoothly. And we need this right here. Okay. A little yellow accent marking for his feet. Gonna nip that up. Find it right in there, locate it right in its grooves. Here just to hold it down. We are gonna poke and prod. Stick her right where it belongs. That or out of where it belongs. There we go. That wasn't too painful. That wasn't too bad. All right, that's one. Need pieces for the second one here. Which sprue did I not use yet? The bottom one. Okay, we need 9 and 10 off of this one. Trying out some different cutting techniques. That it's been a while since we've done this, so always learning new things. Always learning new things. I think we're still going to keep most of our techniques pretty much the same. Find an open spot there for my tools. But let's see. What's been happening here on the Gia side of things? With Prime Day come and gone, we did pick up a few pieces of equipment here. We got some new camera arms to be able to hold my tabletop and then my face tracking cam. I didn't like the angle we had before. It was a little bit too high, I feel. So whenever I looked down, it always gave me this weird, like, side eye type thing. So we got a new mount and we were able to get a lower angle. And I'm definitely liking the way it looks better. Okay, we need this 9. Free him from his prison. Oh. But yeah, loving the new camera angles so far. They are pretty dang killer. I think it's doing a way better job of tracking, uh, measuring what I'm doing. Regrettably, because of glasses, it always thinks I'm blinking, probably when I'm not. But with this lower camera angle, it's not doing it as often. So I really appreciate that. Okay, there we go. The other side. Hit it with our file. Looking pretty good. Just to even up the surfaces, of course. Okay, let me see if I remember how this all fit together. I don't remember. Okay, it's a good thing we've got instructions then. Fitting on top of this. Like so. Oh, I'm gonna need more pieces. One went, flipped right into the top of the foot. There we go. Slot it in. Oh, it's Psycho. He's back. But this time for one of our build streams. How you doing, Psycho? Uh, both pieces and both stickers. Well, let's worry about the sticker first. As for us, we're doing pretty good today. Had a relatively short day at work, which was pretty great because yesterday was a long day. So it was nice to just get the extra time off. Been using it to progress a little further into the college courses, but now we're finally back to relaxing. Okay, boom, that's both stickers. Those stickers were painless. Those stickers were easy. Okay, I need to find E11 for both of these. They're a white piece. They'll be on these sprues. Okay. Right over here. Longer day at work, but all good in the end. Well, that's good. Did you replace a fence for the fourth time? I liked building fences. I don't know. You could kind of just get into a rhythm, and then next thing you knew, the day was over. All right, there we go. We got both of our pieces clipped out now. Clean it up. Honestly, when I was landscaping, irrigation work was probably the best for it, or what I liked to do the best, because it was a little technical. You had to do a little bit of digging, but uh, the results at the end, I feel, were pretty well worth it. A lot of those people had some crazy gardens. Second job. Damn. All right. Jack of all trades over here. A technician for what? What do you technically do? Oh, where'd I put that glass file? Right up here. Automotive? Oh, man. I ought to pick your brain sometime. I know just enough about mechanicking to be dangerous. I see a bill, and then I say, that's outrageous, and I do something stupid and make the bill bigger. That's the extent of my mechanical knowledge. Although our last project didn't turn out so good, I harnessed all of my knowledge from taking a large engines class in high school, and I managed to swap out the engine in my car. So that's great. Now there's all kinds of just little electrical codes and gremlins that need an actual professional to solve, not someone who doesn't know what they're doing. I keep setting things down and losing them. One day, I'll remember where I put things. A Mercedes. Okay. High-end client. Okay, these are both looking good. Slot right into the top. These two pegs. I did get it in there, but never again. Never again. I'll leave it to the professionals. After all, there was much profanity and uh, name calling and little fits of rage as things. I had it. I had the engine mostly where it needed to be. Okay, it was maybe a millimeter or two off, but I couldn't like get the last shimmy to get the engine and the transmission to mate up together. So I was there for hours just like rocking this engine back and forth. All my neighbors were looking at me like standing in the engine bay of my car, and they're probably wondering what the heck was going on. Okay, let's see. We finished this. Now we're on to 32 here. This is way better than trying to put an engine in, okay? I can just follow the instructions. Super easy. Looking for the Fs. 19s and 11s. Oh, you got them both right here. Looks like the thruster units for the legs. Okay, now I just need to find 11. Comes before 19. Okay, right here. Mechanics for you. 1, the idea. 2, the one step going wrong. 3, curse at it and use a hammer. Yes! There was a mallet involved, but it in the end didn't actually help me. After 3 or 4 hours of wiggling, it finally wiggled in. I don't know what happened. I don't know what finally made it decide, yep, this is the right spot, but it did, and it finally slipped in. Okay, there we go. Looking for 11 again. Easier to find the second time. Okay. We'll just clip off these. Then you realize you forgot something that goes behind the engine before you install it and just sit there contemplating life. There was much contemplation. You could have mistaken me for a Buddhist. All the meditating I did. Luckily, I didn't forget anything. Or, well, I should say the engine was quite forgiving in that I could reach everything even after it was stalled. But your other message, definitely enjoy building models more, a lot easier. Do you build models? Are you working on a project right now, or appreciate the hobby? We're working on this RX-93V Gundam just because I've been out of model building for a while. I've been out of a lot of my hobbies for a while, but I'm finally starting to get back into it all. So this is our current project. Our next project is going to be some Girlpla after we've shaken off all the rust with this guy. But really, it's all the electrical work that keeps me from doing more in the mechanical world. I am not an electrician. I'm not good at diagnosing those issues. but I, in the past, have had my brother to help me. He is very knowledgeable when it comes to electronics and electronic systems, but he wasn't here this time, so I don't have him to help me diagnose these gremlins. So I finally just took it to a shop and said, fix my mess. Okay, there we go. Currently, no. However, my brother's really into Bandai's Dragon Ball models, built a ton, and of course, model kit cars. Okay. Do you have a favorite, or would you have a dream model kit? There's some more nubs. Let's see. Call it stereotypical, but I've always been a Lamborghini fanboy. I definitely like the kits. I like the cars. I get that they're heavy and perhaps not as powerful as some other supercars, but the cheese wedges hold a special place in my heart. So perhaps we'll pick up a, a model kit for one eventually. But there's also all kinds of like cool classic ones. I'd love to get one for a Datsun 280Z. That's one of the cars that I'm currently working on, and it's going actually reasonably well. It runs for a project car, but that's about it. It runs. It's not at all reliable. Okay, 65 Mustang Fastback. I had a friend who that was his favorite car. He wanted that for a long time. He never got it, but he wanted one. He wanted one so bad. I even found him one, but alas, we were in high school and didn't have the money. And that's a problem when you're trying to build cars, money. It usually takes a fair bit if you want to build them. That or it takes more technical know-how, which neither he nor I possessed at the time. The only reason I was able to afford my car is because it was an old Datsun. Not as popular as the Mustang. But it's a nice car when it works. Like I said, right now it just runs. But when I first got it, it was actually pretty decent. You could kind of use it as an around town commuter without too much hassle. But I've done and goofed some things up. So we're going to have to go find some parts. But yeah, it was a 1979 Datsun 280ZX. Um, it was black and gold. It was the non-turbo and an automatic, and that's how I goofed it up, was because I was trying to make it a manual. But regardless, it works ish. Have a 67 Camaro model, a lot more technical but fun nonetheless. All right, all right. American muscle, not much of an import guy then, maybe. The domestic market. Actually, I don't know if it's your domestic market. I don't know if you're an American psycho. Okay, I'm looking for some polycaps. Oh, right here in the corner. And if I remember where I put things, this whole building process would be a lot easier. I'm looking for 2 and 9. Let's face it the right way so I can see the numbers. Here's some nines. Datsun 280Z is second to the Mustang, so either you'd love to own. Well, you already own the first, so you don't have to get the second, unless you want to. In which case, I know a guy who has a Datsun 280Z. It only has some minor transmission issues. It'll be okay. I promise. Nah, I'd never sell my car. It's a love-hate relationship. More love than hate, though. Nines, and then I need the twos. Okay, there we go. There's a two. And here's the 2-2. Second two. A duplicate. The first two. But that, to be honest, it was probably a good thing that we actually never bought that Mustang I found for my buddy, because it was kind of rusting out in a field and stuff. And I mean, I don't think it was a basket case, but it was probably a little too much for us. 1979 Mustang. Nice. Is it original? Restored? Resto mod? Have you done anything with it? Or is it just eye candy? A really big garden gnome. That was the long-standing running joke with the Datsun I had. It was a mouse house. Not Disneyland. It was the cheap mouse house knockoff. Which I think really does it an injustice. Like I said, it ran when I bought it, so it was an operable car. I just never had a whole lot of time to use it. High school commuting was never where it shined. Okay, original. Your dad and uncle's sitting, so you bought it for $900. That's a steal. But I wouldn't pay $900 for. Any Mustang. Oh man, any Mustang for $900, right? But no, that's super cool. Super cool. Restoring 80,000 miles. Okay, so you're one-to-one restoration. You're going to try to find original parts for it and the like, or perhaps only recreate what you need to. I'm not sure what parts availability would be like for a Mustang, just having never tried it. But I mean, if parts are plentiful, then it'd be a sweet restoration. The problem I ran into when I was working on my Datsun was they were plentiful, but a lot of them are kind of rust buckets, rust bins. A lot of the panels and body parts that you can find for them are all kind of rusted out. So it's difficult to find OEM stuff. That's okay. I've kind of changed it a little bit anyways. Since the L28 that I have wasn't originally a turbo, but I of course found one and threw that in there. Yeah, overpriced. Fair enough. A little too much for some sheet metal. All right. Got some boosters. We're on to our next step here. Luckily, it seems to be an easy step. I can handle this. Looking for piece 8. There we go. Get that clipped out. And then we're looking for F4. It's going to be one of these gray pieces. Right here. Ooh, an S10. I really like those small trucks. I could get like an S10 or a Ford Ranger or something. I think that would scratch my truck itch without actually breaking the bank for some of these things. Full-size trucks can get kind of expensive. Just the operating costs and things. There we go. But regrettably, I have a sedan, a Chevy Cruze right now. I'm kind of kicking myself on. The one I got seems to be a bit of a limit, which is why I had to put an engine in. 60,000 miles for 1,600. I'll say you went grave robbing or something. Some mother kicked her son out of the house, and then you just went and swooped up his belongings, stole it. Although if I was gonna go pick another small vehicle, I think I want to pick up a Honda Del Sol. I think it'd just be a really fun, kind of simple build. And then, of course, they've got a little more character than a regular old Civic. But I mean, all the parts for a Civic are basically there. It's pretty much the same. But I have one too many projects right now, so that will probably never happen. But I still think it'd be kind of cool. All right, that was an easy step. I feel like we're making great progress when we get steps like that. Um, Now we're looking for more F pieces, more polycaps. 16 and 17 from the Fs. Luckily, with these parts dwindling, it's getting easier to find them. Oop, slipped right out. Okay. 16, 17. A Honda Fit. I had a buddy who was really into rallying. That's what it is. I was like, what's that off-road racing thing? Rallying. And he wanted to get a Honda Fit for that. And I said, okay. But from what he told me, they're actually pretty decent starters. Like, I mean, um, just a short wheelbase hatch that kind of doesn't have crazy power, of course, but I mean, it's got enough, especially for our experience level. We never actually did buy it, of course. You know, this is all high school pipe dreams for kids without money. But he wanted to buy one and then build it and become a rally car driver. Those were the days, young adolescence. More dreams than brain. But you thought of all the cool things that you wanted to do. Only think I didn't like some models. The numbers weren't etched out the best and hard to read, so it took me longer to find parts. Hmm. Are you talking about your S10? Like some of the parts numbers were etched out, so you couldn't like find the replacements for it and stuff? I definitely had that problem with some of the sensors I was trying to replace on that Chevy Cruze. It was nigh impossible to read exactly what it was. Then like on the kits. Oh, gotcha. I haven't had that problem with these kits so far. The numbers are pretty well defined for my eyes. The only problem is I'm just not the best at reading. Yes, everything has parts. Everything has pieces. Everything has numbers. But that's okay. After all, we sorted it out in the end, and now we know what we're talking about. There we go. But no, I was looking for sensors off that Chevy Cruze, and it was nigh impossible to read some of those part numbers. It was rough. And then since I didn't know exactly what model I had, like all the badges had been torn off, um, it made finding some of those sensors a bit of a pain because some of the higher end models they combined some of the sensors, and then some of the lower end models they were separate and placed in different spots. So I looked kind of weird at the O'Reillys and trying to describe what I wanted, and they're like, "Is it this one? Is it this one? I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm doing." Some of the Dragon Ball kits have bright green blue for Super Saiyans, Broly, and blue, so numbers were a little harder to read. Yeah, it's definitely harder, like on these white sprues, definitely. I have to find some way to hold it so I can see a shadow, and then I can be like, oh, 12. Oh, that's 13. Okay, now I want some caps again. Looking for threes and twos. But I never realized that they had made some of those Dragon Ball kits. Just because, like, I was never a huge Dragon Ball guy. Like, I watched Dragon Ball. I thought it was okay, which might get me crucified here. But, like, 7 out of 10. Not necessarily a 10 out of 10. But that's how I feel a lot about a lot of the shonen kind of animes. I just don't think they're really my speed, which is a little weird considering that I like giant robots, but I could never get into a lot of the super popular shonen ones. I mean, it's the same story with like Naruto and Bleach. They were good, but I don't know that they'll ever be my favorites. Um, like what really gripped me was like Mobile Suit Gundam, 8th MS Team, Space Vietnam. that's that's what I was watching. All right, we got those. I need the twos. Not crazy about it either, but the models were very detailed. Okay. It's always nice when they can pack details into these kinds of things. Um, you don't want to have to go about making your own or imagining them, so it's always nice when they can include them. Back when I was doing more historic armor modeling, this was a couple of years ago. Um, I was OCD enough to actually try and like make some of the details that were missing on some of these kits. You know, you'd look up like actual photos of a tiger tank, and then you'd look at like the vision block on it or something and realize that it's all segmented, but the kit wasn't segmented, so you had to take a scribe, and you didn't have to, but I did. You'd take a scribe uh and put in the armor lines and the panel lines and stuff, and it took a lot of time, but it looked really cool. But these days we're going for just brushing up on the skills. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since I built models. For some reason, just didn't have time. It fell off the spectrum and just fell to the wayside. That's really it. Other things became more important. But now that we have time again, revisiting the old hobbies. And also doing things we've never done before. I always wanted to stream, but never did, till now. And I'd say it's going pretty good so far. Definitely enjoying the process. Okay, now I have to turn the page. Would help if I hadn't put everything. Oh, excuse me. Would help if I hadn't put everything on the page. But we're nearing the end. We just have 2 more pages of instructions. I should never get into origami either. On paper, fold. All right. The last 2 pages. Always nice to find time again for things you like. Yep. Yep. I'll always try to make some time for it. Because it's, I don't know. It's cheaper than therapy, that's for sure. Okay, let's get these parts kind of stacked up, ready for our next assemblies. Okay, we are looking for some D pieces. These white ones, 12 and 9. All right, this guy here is 12. Would actually help if I got the cutting part of the clippers in there. There we go. 12 and 9 is right next to it. Okay. There we go. Free that up. And repeat the process off of this guy. Looks like we're developing the calf right now. Some nice strong calves. For our left heavy Gundam. All right, there we go. Jumped away. That's the thing with school starting up again. My time is being spoken for, so I hope I'll be able to keep this up. I have devised an early schedule that, upon initial inspection, seems like it'll work. But of course, only time will tell. Only time will tell. I'd also like to start getting back into other aspects of the hobby. Like I originally picked up modeling because I wanted to play the tabletop war game Warhammer 40,000, if you're familiar with it. That was where I first started, and I of course haven't played in ages. From my understanding, they're on like 10th edition right now. The last edition I played was 5th edition. So the editions have doubled while I've been away. But I've recently been picking up. I've been picking up some 3D printing files, and I've been printing some bits and bobs for it that hopefully I'll paint on stream. I think that'd be cool too to also paint on it, but I definitely need to brush up on my painting skills because it's been even longer since I've painted anything. You've heard and seen it, never played. Well, we can fix that. Well, not right now, but we can fix that. It was honestly pretty fun. I don't know. It was definitely more appealing to me than chess because everything was kind of free form, even if it was um, model kit cars were all white, so painting was interesting. I bet. I bet. Because when you build a lot of the uh, like Warhammer minis and stuff, they're all just gray. So you have to find all these really interesting color schemes and kind of brainstorm all these all these complementary colors and stuff. Um, but it was kind of cool also because, right, you customize it to something you actually wanted. Adding all these like little weathering effects and details and stuff. It was cool. I don't know. You could really go crazy with it, and I thought that was good. I thought that was good. Okay, let's see how these go together. Need one of these with one of these, right? Or is it the other way? I think it's the other way. If I'm paying attention to the diagram, which can sometimes happen. Okay, yep. It'll just snap together. There we go. All right, repeat this process. Like that, which means this one should be like this, I assume. Right? Opposites. Legs do the opposite things. Okay. All right. Got our two pieces. We are now looking at 36. All right, we are going to need two more pieces off of our E-sprues. They're these nice dark blue ones. It's a nice color. Gonna be 11 and 12. Yep, these rounded bits. Back when I was building all the time, I would even paint these kits. Like, um, these, of course, come in pre-colored, I guess. So you don't have to, but back then I was just so crazy about getting details in that I would repaint them to try and make the colors more accurate or add more details and stuff. Or just to get a color combination that I wanted. Customization is what makes mech games fun. That's why I liked Armored Core 6 so much. You could pretty much do anything you wanted, build anything you wanted. Armored Core 6 was a pretty dang good game. Let's see. Another one that's pretty close, but it's not super well known, is Mass Builder. I really like that one. Just because the customization is crazy. The game itself is still in development, but it's come a long ways from where it first started. And now it's at a point where I would recommend people at least give it a look. Maybe not buy it quite yet, but give it a look. Okay. Get rid of all these forbidden sprinkles. I saw another streamer who called them that, and I just thought it was funny. Forbidden sprinkles. They come in all kinds of colors. Kind of look like sprinkles, right? There we go. But Mass Builder was pretty cool. A jar full. That would mean I have to start collecting them as opposed to just sweeping them off my desk and vacuuming them up. You can tell if it was a particularly big kit by the sound the vacuum cleaner makes. It rattles around in the brush. And if it sounds like something's being sandblasted, you know, it's probably like master grade or perfect grade. For this, it'll probably just sound like rain or something. A plastic rain in this our modern era. There we go. Find those nubs to sand up. Okay, we've done those two. Same thing for our next leg. Keep derailing myself. I had a thought, and it was about Mass Builder. I don't remember what I was gonna say. But whatever. I guess just if you want to give it a check, give it a check. I'll think of it sometime. I just don't remember. I don't remember. Crucify me, I guess. All right. This went on to the back, it says. Gotta line them up. There we go. And here's the other one. Wait, that was my thought. Was they added co-op recently. So if you wanted to play it with somebody, you definitely could, which I think is a really great feature because not a lot of mech games have had it. Oh, that's the same piece. There we go. That's the opposite side. There we go. Whip all that in. Yeah, I feel like this is moving pretty good. The first two streams we were trying to do this, I feel like we were moving at a snail's pace. But now I feel we're actually making decent progress. I think our goal of finishing up the main body is within reach. All we really have to do is finish this upper leg. Do twice. Finish up his waist unit. And stick it all together. And then we've got ourselves a robot. All right, we are looking for... What are we looking for? We're on 30... No, we are not. We are on the second half of 36. We need D7s and D13s for them all. Never get sidetracked. Okay, 7 and 13. I almost missed a step. Then he would have looked kind of weird. Unfinished. Oh, hello. It's a funky little thing. I wonder if I knocked it or if it just did its own thing. But thank you for the catch. And move it just a little bit more. There we go. Something like that, maybe. Okay. But with this camera, I don't know. It's kind of got like, it's on a gimbal. So it's like really, if I sneeze, it might just move away. Hey, Tickleplaw, welcome back. Thanks for the raid. Still working on our RX-93. But we're pretty much done with the bot. We just have to finish up the legs and the waist unit here. And then, of course, we've got his backpack all to finish. And then we got a panel line. It's, I don't know. We still have a journey ahead of us. We've still got a journey. But we'll eat this elephant one bite at a time. We were talking about mecha video games before. Armored Core 6, of course, has been a huge one for people recently. But this is just a community poll. Has anyone ever heard of Mass Builder? Someone needs to say yes so I feel better about myself. Journey is good. No need to rush to the finish line. Exactly. I said, I've been out of the loop for a little while, so try to refresh all of my building techniques. Yes, but you are clearly lying. Well, at least you've made me feel better, but that's okay. I just really liked it because it had a lot of customization, which was a big plus for Armored Core 6. And then it was a kind of PvE co-op mode thing, so you could play it with your buddies. I had a good time with it. I did pop into your stream earlier. I saw you working on, nuts. I forgot the name again. Sword of Rage. I think that's what it was. Something like that. An angry sword. It was looking pretty good, though. It was looking pretty good. All right. Work on these smaller bits. Ah, see, you can teach an old dog new tricks. Just like I remember what 30-minute mission is. Oh, man. My ignorance was showing back then, but we have since educated ourselves. The instructions, it's the sworo of rage. Must be Spanish for sword or something. Kind of funny. It's third party for typo. I was gonna say it's probably just part of the kit as far as third party's concerned. Part of the charm. Part of the charm. Holy nuts. You know what I just realized? I have been working in complete silence this whole time. I usually have some music going, but we do not have any music right now, do we? Oh, man. You can tell I'm new to this streaming game. That's okay. We can fix this situation. Nothing a little YouTube can't fix. Let's just roll up some funky music. A good conversation. Well, that's what happens when you start getting into things like cars and stuff. You can just kind of go down the rabbit hole. And Psycho here's got a Mustang that he's been working on, and he's been killing it from what I hear. He basically stole the thing. Ah, work, the stealer of joy. That's okay, though. There we go. We'll turn this down. Okay. Now we can actually finish this step. We were about to move on without finishing it. And we need these pieces. Some of the stabilizers and vanes. A little finicky, a little small, but we'll get it all together. Okay, yeah, there we go. He's got a decent range of motion. All right, all right. There we go. Now we can move on to 37. And for that, we were going to need pieces. Yep, pieces. Okay, D4 and D3 off of both my sprues. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Okay. That's one of them. Grab our second. Alright, so it doesn't sound like you ever miss a step and had to go backwards on a build? Oh, yeah. I agree, it's not fun. You spend a lot of time kicking yourself going, why did I miss that? Why did I miss that? Especially when it happens like really late in the build. Like, um, I was working on another high grade from Iron Blood Orphans. It was, um, what was it? Carta Issues Grays, I think. I was missing like the polycap inside the torso that would connect it to the waist unit. And so I had to go back and disassemble the whole torso and put it in there and reassemble everything and stick it back on. I was, oof. Especially trying to not break the pieces when you, exactly. But at the same time, it was like I was at my boiling point and I was like, this just doesn't work. And so I probably used a little bit too much Gorilla. Some of those pieces are probably a little warped. If I go take a look at my shelf, it might be, I might have to avert my eyes in shame. But it was ultimately all okay in the end. It was a presentable product. It was a presentable product. Yep, yep. And to be honest, it's probably still one of my favorites, just because it was kind of one where it was really one of the first where I decided to kind of go all out on the details and stuff. You know, I really had this mentality of like, it's a high grade. I didn't spend a whole lot of money on this. So let's just see what we can do. Let's push the limits of our modeling skills. And I mean, mistakes were definitely abounded aplenty on there, but we definitely got a really good product out of it. You know, I feel like I stretched my wings. Now I just need to get back to that level at least. See all the new tools that people create. Like this glass file. I'm really loving this thing. Back in my day, now I sound old. But seriously, I was using just cheap sanding sponges back in the day, and it was nice that I had a tool like that. But this thing takes the cake. This thing takes the cake. Just because it's like super nice and level, I can match the panel angles and then smooth it, smooth it to match. Okay, I am looking for these two sub-assemblies. I want to put 3 and 4 on it. Okay, how do we want to build this? I believe it goes on this way. Not that one, this one. There we go. 2 cohesive halves make a whole. Some of the kits I've seen have everything now, all for like little details and things like that. Exactly. Like these high grades of course don't have a lot of detail, but you can buy master grades and perfect grades and real grades and all of that. And we will eventually get back into that level, but we'll keep refreshing ourselves with this high grade before we before we get any of those. Oh, there we go. Same thing for like our painting. When we get back into painting, I'm going to paint 3D printed stuff before I decide to paint any of my valuable GW plastics. Okay, I'm looking for F8 and F9 now. Which was over here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just looking at two halves. I was like, are these complete pieces? But they are halves. There we go. Siamese twins. Joined at the hip. I guess maybe they're quadruplets. Quadruplets? How do you say that? Quadruplets? All I know is twins and triplets. That's all I've got. And octuplets for some reason. There we go. Oh, she jumped away. Jumped away. But that's okay. Oh man, I just had a little brain fart there trying to figure out what I was trying to get. There we go. We're cleaning up pieces. That's what we're doing. Okay. Get this guy. And she jumped away. That's fine. That's fine. We don't need them. Although my jar won't be progressing if I don't have them. Sorry, Psycho. That jar will be moving slowly. Oh, little. I almost thought you were part of it for a second. Okay. Pop that right off. Oh, and it flew away too. Okay. Fine. I'm never meant to have these things. Like I said, the vacuum will find it later. Vacuum will find it later. Where was the third bit? Oh, I think it was this guy? There you go. Way to be an ambassador. Hiya! We forgot one piece. But we have the technology to fix it. There we go. Pretty good song. I'll have to find this later. Add it to my regular playlist. Okay. Believe we've got one half here. Okay. And a second half. There we go. All right. How does this all mate together? Got one of these. One of these. Tip of the triangle pointing up and pipes to the rear. right? Right. Alright, same process. Triangle up. Pipes to the rear. Yeah. Okay. And then these all get attached. Like so. Oh yeah. That was nifty. Although, I need to make sure that the ankle is right. This bit here. Okay, I think I need to swap legs. Other leg, please. Yes. This way. Okay, ankle is correct. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the full range of motion. That would be a travesty when you're building a robot. Okay, there we go. Throw on the ankle. Maybe. Oh, yep, there we go. Got it. Oh, except I think we're a little backwards still. Maybe? I've got this leg and this leg. So we are backwards here. Gosh dang it. You had to curse me like that. That's fine, though. This is an easy switch around. Look at that. Didn't even have to struggle. Okay, so if we wanted to go like this, front needs to be up here. Rear needs to be back here. And then we can attach. Look at that. Okay. Foot. With its surprisingly painless stickers. Alright. They'll meet together in the middle now. Excellent. What we have left now is the waist unit. We are looking for C's. Which we've got over here. This is our main component for the waist. Get that out. Hit it with some hobby knife action. Alright, we'll clean these up real good. Alright. Okay, we're going to work on the front bit of this, which requires 3 pieces. 2 from the A, 1 from the B. 6 and 7. A little bit of red accent. A tasteful red. I do like the colors for this kit a lot. Just enough color to make it interesting, but it's still got a pretty unified appearance, being this kind of white and dark blue. Real good. I like it. Okay, we also need 9. Of course. Get the right angles for it. And clip it out. I recently rediscovered my favorite anime site, so we're gonna have to start rewatching some of these Gundams again so I can refresh myself. Because especially when it comes to Universal Century stuff, it has been a hot minute since I've watched it. And G-Quux just isn't doing it for me right now. Maybe not terrible, but 6 out of 10 be my current rating so far. And from what I can gather and from what others have said, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs in it, but not but the story itself, I feel, was kind of weak. And so for me, who has forgotten a bunch and just doesn't remember all the Easter eggs, it's just a mediocre addition to the series. But I don't know, maybe that's controversial to say. But I'm also really looking forward to rewatching a bunch of other series. I was talking with Psycho. 8th MS Team is what drew my eye back in the day, as opposed to Dragon Ball Z or Naruto. They were good, but 8th MS Team is where it was at. Oh, there's the other bit. Okay, how do we mate this all together? By matching the corners. Like so. Okay. Actually sit pretty flush. That's a nice fit. This kit so far has been scratching all the right itches. Just enough to get me feel like I'm re-upping my modeling skills, and it's not too complicated, and the kit isn't like poorly made, that it's giving me endless frustrations. In fact, the only frustration is probably that it's all in Japanese, and I don't speak it. Luckily, we can view all the pictures. Okay, I need 1 and 9, the last of my polycaps. There we go, get that out. Can't remember the anime I used to watch. It was a random channel I found one day that would stream some old animes. I also did not start on Naruto or Dragon Ball. If I recall, some baseball anime. That sounds interesting. I don't think my anime knowledge is extensive enough to know just off of baseball anime, though. Or maybe it doesn't need to be because there's only one. Regardless, I don't think I know it. But I mean, maybe our friend Google could help us out. Let's see. Before we do any Googling, let's throw in some of these pieces. Okay, this one's sitting at the bottom. Baseball, though. That'd be pretty good. There's a golf one that had come out recently, and that one seemed kind of interesting. Um, and then there was another one, a geology anime that I wanted to watch, but I hadn't started it yet. I haven't started it yet. But they both looked pretty good. Um, the last sports one I watched was, is it Haiku? It's a volleyball anime. All right, we're gonna have to break out some of the Google. I'm pretty sure it was Haiku. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then yes, Rising Impact for the golf. And I haven't started it yet, but it did seem pretty good. Okay, where are we? 39. We have to mate these two together. But I mean, I am perpetually behind when it comes to anime series because I've got the memory of a goldfish, so I constantly have to go back and rewatch things. And so I'm constantly rewatching all of these old anime to try and be like, wait, is that what happened? I don't remember that. It was good for your liking. Rising Impact or Haiku or both? Because like I said, I liked Haiku. It really caught me out of left field, and I really didn't think I was gonna like it, but it was actually pretty entertaining. I liked how the characters developed and the story developed. Um, yeah, like I said, it was a surprise. It was a surprise hit for me. Okay, I am looking for B10, 7, and 8. The next season, exactly. But that's a curse all anime fans know. They're all waiting for new seasons. Everybody. Nobody can escape this wait. Unless, of course, your series happens to be finished. In which case, you lucky bastard. That, or you could go read the manga, I guess. Hmm. Hmm. But I mean, that would require reading. And who wants to do that when you can just watch it? The animations, though. Yep. Yep. Once you go live, it's hard to go back. See all that action in real time. Whoo! That's the way to live. Oh, jumped off. That or the anime ends on a cliffhanger, no new seasons, then maybe I'll read it. Oh, that's true. Let's just hope something like Berserk doesn't happen. Creator dies. I get that his friend took over, but it's just not the same. Just not the same. Well, hello there, Master Build Gunpla. Don't look too closely. I'm not at that Master Build yet. uh, it's been a few years since I've done some Gunpla building, so we're building a high grade to refresh the skills. see how the technologies have changed. Yep, we found ourselves back with some more time to revisit the old hobbies. But eventually we'll start working on some nice, bigger projects, I should say. Perhaps a master grade next after our Girlpla. Okay, your current project's the High New. All right. Or He New. Are you liking that project so far? I'm liking this one a lot. It's really scratching the itch for me. Oh, let's piece these together. You're done. All right, well, you're faster than I. I've been working on this for a couple of days now. Yeesh. But I guess it makes sense being a slug and all. A real grade version 2. Is it also of your Hinu? Or is it a different model? Because I'd like to do some real grades. But like I said, gotta make sure I'm up to where I need to be before I attempt that project. That's sick. Okay, we're there. We are looking for A5 and a sticker. All right, it's gonna be a red piece. Ooh, we just nipped that guy right off. Oh, whoops. All right, we'll see you. Well, if you tune in Friday, we'll see you Friday. If not, we'll continue our Fall of Avalon stream on Saturday and Sunday again, of course. So if you want to see us continue, be sure to tune in then. All right, good night, Psycho. See ya on Friday. Yeah, you got a social or something you can post your real grade on? Okay, what sticker am I looking for? This guy. Yeah, go ahead and post it. All right. Gotta get this to match up. Okay, there we go. Get this rolling up. All right, here we go. Checking for viruses in the worst way possible. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a solid build. At least to my untrained eye. How long did that take you? 8 hours? Okay, yep, you're definitely a better builder than I. Okay, that's looking good. I need C17 now. But still, for 8 hours, that looks pretty great. I was looking for a piece, and I just threw myself off. Oh, C17. Ones. 17, right there. What's going to be your next project? For us, it's going to be a girl pla. We've got Azra that we're going to be working on next. There we go. Yep, this is going to be the next project. So I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, next project, Real Grade Suzabi and Real Grade Hainu once Gundam base coming. Like you're gonna go to one of the Gundam bases and pick it up, or am I missing excuse me, some kind of announcement? I was working on this piece. Okay, Gundam base pop up. All right, nice. That'll be sick. Okay, where did this piece go? Oh, right here. I'm staring at it, and it just escaped me, but that's okay. Boom. Looking whole, looking mighty complete. Okay. No, that's 42. We need to go to 41. The next logical step here. We can't just skip things. We need D2s. There we go. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. The end is in sight. We can taste it. Yeah, hopefully we'll get this all finished up on Friday so we can start our next project next Tuesday. Oop. Need that heat hawk brush. Sweep away all these nibs. Especially because they don't seem to be grabbing. There we go. Perfect the technique. IBO? I really liked IBO. With that being said, it's been 10 years since I've seen it. We were talking the other day on stream about how old it was. And I didn't realize it was 10 years old. Have you watched it before, or is this a first watch for you? If I were to watch it again, it'd be a rewatch, but like I said, due to my goldfish memory, it may as well be a first watch. I don't remember any of the details. I just remember Barbados is the main Gundam. Mikazuki's the pilot. That's about it. Not exactly an encyclopedia. Actually, I remember in the second season, I think they were fighting some mobile armors, which was kind of cool, but I don't remember the second season being quite as good as the first season. Not that it was bad, like, just off the top of my head, initial impression was 7 out of 10, whereas I think the first season I would have rated it like a 9 out of 10. If I rewatch it, I wonder if my ratings will change. Okay, yeah, that clicked together real nice. Okay, whip this together. Okay. Slots in like so. There we go. Get these legs to sit flat. Aha! We have legs. Okay. Now comes the ever important part, creating the hole. Oh yeah, nice. Nice. There we go. Give him a little power pose. Puff his chest out a little bit. Really show him who's boss. Give him some angle. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. We still got some panel lining and stuff to do. And of course, he needs his backpack. But we're doing pretty good here. Alright, we'll just set him off to the side. You can continue to watch over us while we begin the next steps of our process, which is the final page of instructions. Build some beam sabers. Attach some shields. Build the backpack. Yeah, right? That's the end of it? I think that's the end of it. Wait a minute. We have another final page. I stand corrected. Another final page. But the second to final page is what we'll start on. The final page is in color. It really helps you know that they really care about you and following the instructions. That they reward you with a color page. Okay, we are gonna work on this beam saber, which is a lot of B pieces. All right, what do we got? What do we got? 19, 25, and 23. 23, 25, and 19. All right, we got him. We got him, Mr. President. All right. 19, 25, 23. These guys. Put these out so that way we have some close combat capabilities. Although I think we already do. I think there's a... Yeah, there's a beam saber in the wrist, if I remember right. But I mean, you can never have enough beam sabers, right? After all, if you want to be the coolest, you have to dual wield. Okay, let's make sure we don't lose that piece. It looks too much like a nub. Suspiciously nub-like. And then, of course, I'm putting white pieces on a white page. A surefire recipe to lose them. This would be the place for a colored instruction page. That way the white would stand out. Might be a little too small. Might have to go to the old tried and true. Hit it with my hobby knife. There we go. My Polish sausages just don't work. They can't grip such a small piece and then file it down. This science is impossible. Okay. But I mean, this is probably a bigger recipe for disaster. After all, working with a blade instead of the file. Might end up with more than 10 fingers. Or perhaps a nice red base coat. Okay, where were you attached? Right here? And on this end. Okay. This way. With this. Attached like so. That's a fancy little handguard. Maybe attached like so. We're close. I can smell it. Oh, no, we're not quite fit in there. Which means I've goofed up somehow. I just don't understand how these models work. I don't know if maybe not. I feel like it should snap together this way. The geometry tells me. The heart of the cards, Yugi. Oh, yep, there we go. You just have to believe. Okay. This now goes like so. What a fiddly bit. What a fiddly bit. Okay, this gets slotted. Oh my goodness, I goofed up the back. Oh, facepalm. Well, this is what you get when you're not paying attention. The hole for the beam saber is now on the bottom as opposed to the top. No. All right. We fix it. We fix it. But that means we'll have to view some previous steps. Okay, it looks like I can just pull the back straight off. We can disassemble from there. I think this should lift out. Or maybe? Yep, this should lift. Lift out. It's thinking about lifting. It'll do it eventually. Whenever you're ready. Please be ready. Oh, there we go. It's ready. It's ready. We're good. Oh, man. Now we gotta rotate this around somehow. Get a prying tool, which means we pick the worst tool for the job. Oh, yeah. That's gonna end poorly. Separate. By the power of Bandai Namco, I command you. Negative. Ooh. We got a little bit of motion. The motion in the ocean here. Ooh, it's coming. I'm coming. Oh, well, that was lewd. All right. Now we can make it correctly. Reattach. Beam saber sheath facing the right direction. There we go. There we go. A simple fix. Reattach. Beam saber now has its rightful resting place. All right. That little setback has cost us. We're going to have to start on the backpack next stream, which will be Friday from 9 to 11 Central Daylight Time here in the U.S. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next round, sluggers. You guys all have a good night.